So that's what I was so disappointed about as well, was that it wasn't head to head. So I have two screens going. I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this old school. I'm going to watch it like simultaneously. What's going on? I'm going to be typing away. And they weren't even on at the same time. So I think Dynamite got bumped for baseball, or is that inaccurate? Chat can check me on that. Don't quote me on that. I just saw something like, oh, it's baseball or something. And the show kicks off with like a cinematic Neo Moxley promo package again, or whatever, vignette, rather, is probably the proper term. Okay, I like that they're doing that. I'm going to point it out throughout the show. I'll just overlying say it right now. In general, throughout the show, there's backstage stuff. There's people interacting backstage. It's not great, compelling, over, you know what I mean? Like Mark Briscoe cut a brilliant promo. There's stupid happening, like Lance Archer's getting trade. We'll get to it. Okay. Jake Roberts does a trade. He trades Lance Archer for some Luchas and Roosh, who, like, Roosh was kind of in the Callis family. It's so convoluted and stupid, but at least they're trying. They're doing backstage stuff. They're trying to get us invested in a story. I won't lie, like Danielson in the main event, even though he's with Yuta, Danielson can get me invested. Like, you know, I love the guy. What can I say? He's great. He truly is one of the best, you know, probably ever. I do get a lot of people say he's overrated as well. I would say he's like perfectly rated. I don't think he's rated as like, this guy revolutionized the business, but he's just one of those dudes who can just get over. He figured it out, you know, like wherever he went, he knows. I don't know. So even in AEW, I mean, say what you want, and yes, it's a WWE thing, but the whole building's yes. Like he's captivated people. He's over. You can't get unover. You know what I mean? When you're that over, when you have a whole WrestleMania changed to be about you, you know, it's really hard to, you don't undo that. You know what I mean? I'm referring to WrestleMania 30, right? It was the whole WrestleMania shifted to be about, that's why Cody's so over, because a whole WrestleMania shifted basically to be about him. Jericho said AEW would overtake WWE, didn't he? Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Oh, we'll overtake Raw, he said. We'll overtake that. Well, guess what? NXT's about to do Raw SmackDown ratings before AEW ever gets close again. We're getting off in the weeds, guys. There's a double title match tonight that makes no sense, but God bless Emi Sakura for trying online to get her story over. But Darby Allin comes out and he goes, I'm the face of the company, man, to Brody King, right? And he's like, remember on the indies, man. And they're telling a story. They're trying to. But this is the bajillionth time AEW's told a story about, hey, man, I'm the face of the company, man. And I got you a job, man. Remember the indies, man. And then I don't take it for granted, man. They've done this to death already. This has been like, bro, Darby, I think's already done the same story. Has he not? I'm sure someone could fact check me, but someone did a story. Didn't they just do that? Like AR Fox, I think it was like, yeah, man, no one believed in you, man. I got you a job, dude. You were in Ring of Honor, man. That's what Darby says. And he goes, I'm the face of the company, dog. And then he smashes Brody, the heel, in the face with a rock, dude. Chat. Did you guys hear me?
What?
A rock, bro. The baby face. I'm the face of the company, man. Smashed him in the head with a rock, dude. And it was blood in the first segment. And sorry, YouTube. Like, come on, you know? We're getting screwed, Tony. The fans are getting screwed. I can't cover this on YouTube. We get a yellow flag for language because I'm talking about this craziness. You know what I mean? Not that I'm like, oh, you know, like if you guys listen to the Bad Blood Hell in a Cell review, is like, damn, dude, they're hitting in the head with toolboxes and damn, they're really doing headshots with this is crazy. You know, like this, they shouldn't do this, but these two guys are overs and they don't do it all the time. So if they're two guys like Drew and Punk are going to make the call to do, it's like, all right. Now, this isn't like if the shoe is on the other foot, I would be saying the same. Like, I'm okay. I've told you guys, I'm okay with chair shots. And if it makes sense, I've told you all this, but like, let's not have the CTE argument because No, Punk was giving Drew CTE in that LFSL, bro. You know what I mean? And we gotta go. We can't watch football anymore. We can't watch running. They find CT in running. I've covered that to death too. So I'm okay. But it's the psychology, man. You can't have your baby face smash the dude in the face with a rock. It should have been like Darby of looking smarter than him, not fighting dirtier than him. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? But they don't give a fuck about that because later in the show, Chris Statlander comes out and all of a sudden she's a baby face again after they just spent like 2 months making her a heel, probably longer than that, making her a heel with Stokely. All of a sudden, she's just not with Stokely. We get a tweet, literally, from a dirt sheet that goes, the story between Stokely and Chris just isn't working, Tony says. Or like, there's just nothing more for it. And then Statlander runs out and is a babyface this show. And I'm just sitting here like, okay, what the I don't even know what to say. How did we not figure it out yet? My word, man. And the crowd was so dead. Can we talk about Darby got no reaction? The other guy, Garcia, zero reaction. Like anti-reaction. People's mouths and lips reversed into their skulls. Do you understand what I'm saying? Oh, man. I think I'm jumping ahead. No, he's right here. So, okay. Paquette is backstage with... Okay, so this right here, too. So we have the baby face smash the guy in the face, okay? Then we go backstage. Renee Paquette's with Lance Archer, Jake Roberts. And then all of a sudden she goes like, he's talking with Don Callis and she goes like, oh, what's going on between you two? And Callis is like, oh, we've done trades before, my guy, or whatever. This is the first trade in AEW history, whatever. We've never done a trade before, rather. And, you know, this is blah, blah, blah. You know how Jake moves. So they trade Lance Archer, who hasn't been on TV in forever, to the Callis family, which is already a mess of a group with like, who's a member, who's not. Like Fletcher and Ospreay are in a whole other faction as well. Whenever Japan comes around, you guys start talking about the other faction, United Empire and or whatever. It's just, you know, I've beat it to death. We're kicking a dead horse at this point. Okay. Anyways. And also, why would Jake trade away Lance Archer? It doesn't make sense. Somebody else pitched online. I can't remember who. Shout them out, though, was like, you know, he should align with the Whitepool Combat Club. That seems more like what Jake would do. And I agree. I'm like, damn, that popped me. I was like, there you go. Maybe add a little spice to that. But no, he trades away Lance Archer to the Callis family for what? You're like, okay, for what? Later in the show, it's revealed he trades him for Roosh, either Mystico or Drilistico, whichever one. Or is that the same guy, Chad? I don't know at this point. And then Beast Mortis is what they call him now. So Roosh was sort of in the Callis family, kind of, before, with Hobbs and all these guys. So somehow Callis traded him and these two luchas to Jake Roberts for Lance Archer. Are you guys following this? Do you understand why I'm stressed out and I have a hard time dissecting this? Ladies and gentlemen, joining me on the show now for 10 minutes is Aewfulwrestling, ladies and gentlemen. Round of applause. Awful, dude. I'm trying to review this as best as I can. I'm sure you didn't watch it, but did you see the numbers, the ratings?
Yeah, they were pretty terrible, weren't they?
Absolutely, dude. So I got it. I got them right here.
Holy cow! I mean, lowest rated in history.
Yes.
Yeah.
I believe.
Only
right?
a week.
So Dynamite,
it was all
329.
It was all just so good just a week ago.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody was singing, "And we are family," and then now it's like 329,000 viewers. Is that the lowest? Chat will check me on that, but I believe it's the lowest ever. And then, not to mention, Konua breaks down here how the second lowest ever for Rampage this week, and then the lowest ever in regular time slot for Collision this week, and then the lowest Dynamite ever. And then he says the Who Gives a era is in full effect.
Yeah. 3 more years. 3 more years of this nonsense.
bro.
And it also shows that there is no synergy between WBD subscribers, I guess, or fans, whatever you want to call them, and AEW fans. AEW fans are only going to be only going to be watching TBS or TNT solely for Dynamite. And as you can see, those are the hardcore of the hardcores, 329,000.
And
So yeah.
so, yeah, dude. And what do you make of like the number itself? And they didn't even go head to head. So understand that like they started an hour
Yeah.
later. So
Yeah.
it's like, you know what I mean? So it's not even, oh,
And,
Dynamite starting, let's all flock over. And it's
and
like,
you know, TNT wanted that to have as a test run. You know what I mean? Like, can we go head to head with these guys? If only for an hour. But even still, the AEW marketing team was absolutely terrible. Nobody knew about it was going to be happening on Tuesday because I don't think they really promoted it last week and all throughout the weekend, really, through Collision and through Rampage. Hey, special time Tuesday. What do they call it? Wasn't there like a special
Title
name for this damn
Tuesday.
thing? Title
Title
Tuesday.
Tuesday,
Yeah,
awful.
and only promoted on X. You know what I mean? Like
And
no
on
other
Tony's
place.
TikTok.
Yeah, right. As long as he tweets it 7 times a day, he thinks he'll be all right. Because you know what he does? He checks out his impression count, and he's just like, "Oh, I got 1 million total out of these 7 tweets. I got 1 million views. I know they're gonna be watching tonight." And no, they didn't.
Jesus, man. So, dude, did you watch any of the show? Like, did you catch any of, or like have seen on Twitter anything that happened on the show?
Nope.
Okay, so
Not really. I mean, I heard some things and I saw some things, but as far as like watching the show last night, hell to the F no.
Yeah, it's brutal, man. I'm reviewing it right now, and so I'm at the part where, Jake Roberts is backstage and him and Don Callis agree to exchange Lance Archer for Roosh and 2 luchadors. So they trade, and this is after Darby, the babyface, bashes Brody King, the Heat
Lucha slave
monster.
trade. Gotcha.
Yeah, and it's just like after Darby bashes Brody King in the face with a rock and then gives him color in the opening segment, and
Right.
Darby's the baby
With that
face.
fake ketchup blood. Did you see that? That wasn't real blood. I was like, what is that? Iodine or something? All right, so I saw a few things. Okay. All right.
Yeah. So, and then NXT doing 870 plus thousand. I'm going to round down because I'm not a dummy. And we're going to go, if they hit 870 plus thousand again next week, then Meltzer's whole, where he's like, actually, in week 3 or 4, we'll know the real number. Look at this, dude. This is insane. Now, let's say this was on their regular time slot tonight. Do you think Dynamite does an extra 300,000 people?
Well,
Or
just to go back to what Dave Meltzer said about the whole like give it 4 or 5 weeks. Why is it? I believe it was in 2022 or 2021. I got the tweet loaded up and ready to go somewhere. But yeah, he said give Collision 6 months, a whole 6 months to do something. Meanwhile, he's giving NXT 3-4 weeks. Love it.
Yeah. I wonder if this NXT's number was hurt a little bit by Dynamite's at all, or is this just do you know what I mean? Like, is there even like 5,000 people who were like, well, I'm going to support AEW, but they normally watch NXT? Do you think even?
Of course not.
Okay.
There weren't that many people that dropped down from last week's number to this week's number. I think last week was I can't remember, 897 might have been for NXT, and this week it's just a little bit lower. I mean, and that's where they're going to settle. They're going to probably settle in around the 800,000 range.
Yeah.
Okay. And if the show gets any better, now they're going to be hitting 900K and possibly 1 million if there's a really hot angle going on in the next 4 to 5, 6, 7 weeks. But as far as AEW, bad promotion, not really showing themselves, not really saying like, hey, we're on Tuesday, folks. Nothing like that. And just front loading the card up with a whole bunch of Ricochet and who's the other guy? No, it wasn't even them. That was last week, wasn't it?
And Komander.
Yeah. Come on now. That's not bringing anybody in. Those are Rampage numbers, Collision numbers.
I know. Yeah. It's so stupid, man. And honestly, that match was like fun. Like, I get it. I'm a guy who's like, yeah, I enjoy lucha sometimes, but it's like, dude, you can't put those guys out there like that and give them as much time as you give them when you're going, and it wasn't even head to head, so it's not even like a bunch of people went, oh, I know I said this before, but it can't be stressed enough. A bunch of like, so Meltzer admits it. He's like, oh, it's obvious that there's AEW fans now who just prefer WWE. And it's like, yeah, bro. Like, no
Yeah, where
shit.
you
We
been?
said this so long ago, man. This is such an old take. He finally
Right.
admits this old take. I'm going to jump into that later a little bit more. But and then it's announced today as well that AEW has signed with Fox the Sports Espanol Premium in Mexico, which will air
Right.
AEW pay-per-views. So that's where that talk was coming from, I guess. They're signed with Fox in Mexico, I guess.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yay. And did they
yeah.
get big money deal for that or what? Paid in
No, dude,
pesos,
no.
tacos, burritos? What are they getting paid in?
So it's like saying, you know how WWE is on TNT in like the UK or whatever, or
Right.
however it works, right? Oh, they're with WBD, or it's like saying the same thing. So all that Fox noise, even Swerve
Right.
got caught up talking that. I covered it on the show. He's like, yeah, SmackDown's leaving and we got Fox and Tony lets me do whatever I want. And then I don't know, it just seems like two incredible flops back to back, this rating and then this announcement of, yeah, AEW's with Fox, Espanol streaming the PLEs or whatever.
Right.
So.
Well, Phil, it sounds like you saw the show. What'd you think of it?
Man, it was, so just to give an overall summation, I
Yeah,
like
sure.
that they're trying to go more sports entertainment. They're doing more backstage stuff, trying to go more cinematic, have the characters interact with each other. However, again, the stories are surface level. They're bad. The booking decisions are bad, and they're deciding that they're going to go with characters like Daniel Garcia and Darby Allin and these people that nobody, I'm so sorry, nobody, and I don't give a how many wrestling YouTuber and bloggers and writers that
Right.
Daniel Garcia is friends with
hmm
behind the scenes, folks. I don't give a I call it like it is, dude. Nah. People don't give a about that dude. He's not good on the mic. I'm not saying he can't wrestle. Make a goddamn junior heavyweight division and let him run, tap everyone out. I don't care, but no, stop, dude. Don't they're Bro, he got like anti-reaction, came out there and is talking about like,
Right,
where am
because
I gonna sign? The feeling
for
is
all this
back.
for all
Crowd
this
says
time, Phil, for all this time, for all the storylines he's been in, there hasn't been a storyline arc with any of them.
no.
He's not a pronounced character anymore. He's got no character. We don't know what his vulnerabilities are. We don't know what his strengths are. We don't know what he's good at. We don't know what he's not good at. He's got the same goddamn face same goddamn look on his face. And with that, that's all you're going to get out of Daniel Garcia under the tutelage, under the writing power of Tony Khan. So, yeah, and even sending him off into NXT or WWE main roster, it doesn't matter. They gotta spend 6 months just building him up, letting us know who he is. So
Yeah,
yeah,
man.
what can be
Uh,
said?
and if they're gonna go with characters like
You
that, to me,
AEW fans wanted this. They all wanted this. Oh, AEW is better than WWE, NXT, all this stuff. Now it's in your face. Now it's right in front of your nose, and you dummies have chosen to go with like some B team third rate wrestling show, and there was only 340,000 of you, which is dumb. That isn't that the entire knucklehead group of the IWC? Like every AEW fan who was a Twitter follower, they watched the show last night in the hopes that they could bring in a big million viewer rating
yeah,
or
and
watch good wrestling. One of the two.
I'm gonna show you guys this excerpt too from maybe I could do it now if I just go back. Phil Marks, bookmarks. So we'll go into the sickos, and Ant Evans posted this excerpt of some study or something like that. He posted something about how there's this study that basically the vocal minority on the internet are like 3%, and they're
Mhm.
responsible for spreading like 33% of the information that's accepted because of their hysteria and all this. And that's what
Right.
I'm trying to say, man. Like the people who talk all this on X or these other social platforms about AEW, I'm telling y'all, like 80% of them don't really support this like that. You know, they're
Yeah, it's
not
an online
actually about it like
fanaticism that
that.
doesn't translate in the real world. That's all it is. And you should know that. You should already know that. Everybody should know that based upon how they respond to any sort of tweet or comment you may make. They go straight for the jugular, as if you kicked their dog or did something, crazy to their mother, and all you did was just give a tweet and a comment. And so with that, that means that they're not real fanatics of the AEW brand. They're just fanatics of attacking you because you're pro WWE.
So, and I got attacked by E-drones today too because criticized NXT a bit, and I was like, God damn it, man, I can't. There's no winning for your boy Phil. But what do you predict for next week then? Big bounce back or like 600,000 usual?
They'll get back to their usual space.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I'd say
sure. If NXT, if NXT went on a Wednesday though, same thing, like only 300,000 people watch Dynamite or what?
I guarantee it might be tied or NXT might win based upon solely about the promotion and the synergy that CW and NXT will have in making sure everybody in America knows that we're showing up on Wednesday nights, 8 p.m. They won't do the pussy thing and roll at 9. They'll go straight head to head, 8 p.m.
Yeah, that's how I was going to say, man. WWE might start getting ideas here soon.
They've already got the ideas. They're implementing them right now. Yeah. They're implementing them right now. Like next week, they're going to make sure that they load up their card for NXT because they want to keep this juggernaut happening. And they will also probably going to make sure that whatever happens on Tuesday gets talked about on Wednesday and overlaps whatever AEW's got going on by next week.
Awful. How long can you hang out with me for? Are you sticking?
I got to roll, sir. I got to roll.
Okay, but man.
Peace to the chat. Yeah, indeed. And we'll talk. Thanks for having me on, Phil. Peace.
Bro, they could literally get The Rock and it would do the same ratings with the type of show that they're putting on. And we're going to continue to review it. Telling me Daniel Garcia is a main event player is just insulting, especially to a person with eyes and ears. Dude, exactly. That's one of my biggest gripes, and that's what I brought up to Awful in my summation, and that's what I was going through this review, is that if you're going to choose to go ahead with Darby Allin, who isn't even the worst, like I can get behind Darby. I've been behind him before, he did amazing with Punk. You got to use him right. Darby Allin, Garcia, Yuta. If these are the guys, man, for real, like, and then Garcia goes backstage and he's hugging like Anna Jay. She's not on TV. You don't have anything for Anna Jay to do. And I got Jungle Jack Perry talking about like, yeah, death. I want the Shibata that was willing to fight to the death. And it's like, bro, if this is really what the players you're choosing to play, I don't know, man. I don't know how much more I can like for real even try and bat for you guys, dude. I'm the only one telling the truth. But they did do some good, like they were trying to go sports entertainment-y, which with the backstage stuff and some of the things, which I applaud that. So I'll make my review quicker and we'll get to NXT. I feel like most TVs running AEW are those hospital or automated places which run the television all day and forget to turn it off. Yeah, dude. What comes on like TBS, right? I don't even know. Big Bang, right? So, yeah, someone's in a hospital. Oh, put Big Bang Theory on. I like that nerd show. And then just AEW comes on. Oh, I'll give it a shot. This fella's in a pink coat. Then he hits Brody King in the head with a rock, and you're just like, oh my God.
This is great.
Yeah, thank you so much for the super chat. But for real, like who's leaving that on, especially like during the overrun portion that they always try and pull. It's like it's been a devastating fail. I think this year they didn't try and pull the overrun, which is good. Put Garcia and Yuta together in a tag. Team paint dry. Yeah, team watch grass grow. Oh my God. Yeah, dude. I'm not against that. Those two guys could be the two main light heavyweights of your light heavyweight division. Boom. I just booked it for you. I know people are like, no, people want to get away from that. Why? Fans like it. Fans like cruiserweight stuff, especially that crew. And then you can get away with doing Hologram, Komander. I don't know. We're getting into it, guys. I froze in shock when I saw the AEW ratings this week. I thought they would be in the 500s, not this. That's what I didn't have time to ask Awful, right? Because I was kind of I wanted to try and get as much out of him as I could. But and I didn't want to dwell on this, but I swear he predicted too. He said 502,000 or something. You know what's I swear to God he did. Someone can check me on that as well. Even he gave it the benefit of the doubt, and look, you know, the lowest in history. Like, oh my goodness. Because over the weekend too, that's why we read Alfred Konua's tweet as well, because Collision and Rampage also did the lowest of all time. And why would you care about Rampage when they're not in any of the press about here's what we got coming up, you know? Oh, WBD, we struck a new deal. No Rampage. Rampage is gone. No mention of it. Why would anyone tune into that show? Might as well put it on YouTube, like I said years ago. But yeah, I didn't freeze in shock. I just bursted out laughing. Thank you for the super chat. Hologram defeats Komander, whatever. It was actually a good match, though. I'm not going to lie. It was fun. Yeah, you guys might disagree, but Daniel Garcia remains all elite. Nobody cared. And this is the story they tried to do with MJF, but MJF's too busy to be in AEW all the time, so they just gave it to Garcia. I'm telling you, that's what happened. Phil Scoops over here. Willow Nightingale defeated Saraya, which is a good move. Nyla Rose and Hayter, though. It was a 4-way. So it was like, why put Hayter, who just came back into the company, and Nyla Rose in there? Why do that? Just have Willow beat Saraya, right? To earn an AEW women's title shot at Wrestle Dream. So out of nowhere, Nightingale just like gets a win, skips the line. That's always what it is in AEW. You get a win, you skip the line. You just one win. You come in, you win a trios match, you get a tag title match. I don't know what else to say. It's disgusting. I'm disgusted. Switchblade comes out though with juice. Amazing. And they take on Cody Chun. Now, more Jay White versus Jobbers. I'm okay with that. I think he gave him too much though. That's of course AEW. Of course, they give everyone too much TV time, too much match time, too much money, right? Too much hugs, right? But yeah, Jay White wins, cuts a promo. Love these guys. So Mercedes Monet with Camila defeated Emi Sakura to retain the TBS and NJPW strong women's titles. Okay, so this is dumb that it was for both belts for no reason. That out of the way. Emmy, go back to PWT episode 1 or 2. I'm putting Emmy Sakura over, okay? Misused by AEW, I feel. A veteran, someone who could have been a gatekeeper early on. I think she's like 48. And honestly look better than Monet. And I'm not trying to show Monet. Like, Emmy's good, dude. You can just tell she, what can you say? She's a legend in the Joshi world for sure. I'm not saying like she could have been pushed to the moon and is the greatest, but Emmy was a girl who, I don't know, man, just was completely misused. They had her doing that Freddie Mercury, which if that's her call, cool. But, what she was doing after that was good. And I don't know, a solid win for Monet, sure, but maybe this could have been Camille squashing Sakura, maybe, and just to get Camille over. Why was this for the titles? Emmy, though, to her credit, if you go on her X, she starts telling these stories and tried herself really hard on social media to get a story over about why she's fighting Monet and why she gets a shot at the belts. You look up Emmy Sakura's record though, and it's like 50-50. Her wins are like 50 and 75 or something. I don't know. Maybe I'm off on that as well, but it's not good, so you can't make an argument there. She's ranked high, right? Tony Khan keeps bringing up the records and then dropping the records and bringing up the rankings, then dropping the rankings. So there's no argument why she should get a shot at both belts, especially. It's just a Title Tuesday. It's trash. But I mean, like a good little win for Monet. Okay. She got to come out, and this dead crowd too was flat as they didn't care about Monet. They didn't care about, they cared about Daniel Bryan. That was it. That was the only person they gave. Bryan Danielson, pardon me. Actually, they were kind of in Ospreay too a little bit, but whatever. Ospreay comes out, demands answers from Don Callis. I saw all these AEW sickos online on Twitter and shit being like, where's the story and all this. Dude, like we've said before on the show, there is story in AEW. They're just elementary. In this Ospreay, though, okay, you're giving me some depth. You're giving me, like, who sent this guy after me? What the blah, 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 blah. But it is still dumb that, like, Takeshita, I don't know. This whole Callis family thing is a mess, but they're trying. I give them points, like, for, okay, this guy attacked this guy, and they're all supposed to be friends. There's something to this, okay? And, like, Fletcher's doing a good job, but he just looks like mini Ospreay. So it's like, dude, get a new look. Dye your hair red or something. And then Kip Sabian has the same. He's got, like, the slick-backed blonde hair, but before he had the messy blonde hair. It's like, someone dye your hair, you know? Someone just shave your head. Somebody do something. Someone get a crew cut or something. I don't know. Okay? Mercedes and Aubrey should be a tag team. Mo
Best guys, Tony Khan.
Dude, Mo Nay.
You what?
You are a sick bastard for that joke, Merge. I love you, though. We're going to talk about NXT as well, because I got some bad to say about that show, too, believe it or not. Not everything was peachy keen over there. But anyways, let's move along here. Jack Perry, I already covered that. He's a goof. AEW World Championship and Yuta. So here's what's dumb, too, is that Yuta is one of the trios champs who's fighting against Claudio and Pac, who are his other trios. They're 2/3 of the trios champs. So this is all stupid. I think Yuta's going to eventually turn on Brian as well. The Whitepool Combat Club, Neo Moxley clan, lost too. So, like, they're invading the show again. They win the belts. They're jumping Danielson. They're walking around dressed like Peter Griffin. You know, you got literally Marina Shafir beating up Yuta on TV. Yuta's Danielson's tag partner, and we got Marina Shafir beating the out of Yuta with Muay Thai clinch. She has him in the plum, kneeing him to the body, mangling him on the fence on the outside on the barricade. You guys, you know? And this is after the match. This is after the guys lose. Why put Danielson in the match where he has to retire? Why not, like, you know what I mean? Let Yuta take the pin. And it's like, well, no, Danielson's got to be pinned to retire or whatever. Just don't have them lose. Figure out how the Whitepool Combat Club can win, because you're building them up and they're invading and all this stuff. So they can beat up a bunch of security, but they lose their matches they're in. Chad, am I crazy? So I don't know. Danielson cut a promo after. The crowd's going, yes, 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 of course. And he's still just doing it. He's just openly doing it. So who knows if WWE gets the trademark or not? I don't think they'll get it. Or no. They do own the IP to print it on merch and all of that, but it won't go further than that. Like, it'll just stay where it's at. Like, Danielson can go, yes, if he wants to. They won't be able to make merch that says yes and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But right now, WBD, Warner, yeah, they do want IP really badly. That's why Hologram's getting pushed. That's why, and look at his Twitter. He's the first guy ever that's at AEW Hologram. And you look at, they're trying to get King of Hearts. They want to get the yes, yes, yes. So overall, I wish, as Dave Chappelle would say, as Rick James would say, bitch, I wish I had 2 more hands so I could give this show 4 thumbs down. WWE NXT results right here. We're going to go over this show. Now, this wasn't my favorite show either, but I'm not going to bury it nearly as hard. I must be honest with you guys. Basically, I got into it with some sickos. We'll cover it later. But this building, the factory in St. Louis, okay, they set it up for like 1,850 some. So this should be said too. Not only did NXT do a way better television rating, but they drew an even house to Dynamite as well. I think Dynamite sold like 7 more tickets or something, literally, if you look on WrestleTix. So the setup for this was like 1,850. The building holds 3,000, okay? There were some... that's why the crowd was dark on this NXT. I didn't like the aesthetic. People got mad at me online. Sorry, E-Drones. NXT's my favorite show. Sorry you're mad that I'm also critical. See this, guys? This is the proof. If I just went one way or the other, I'd have 20K followers right now. If I just went, I'm all the way AEW hater, you know? This is what I deal with, guys. So I was disappointed in the E-drones for not being able to go, no, guys, yes, it's the crowd is dark and there's some curtains there, dude, and that's okay. Because NXT drew the same as a Dynamite and crushed it in the ratings. But I like NXT in the studio it's in because it's well lit, it's yellow, it's what you can see the whole crowd, you can see the expression on everyone's faces. Everyone's into the show. It's what makes it look different. It looks like a party. It's like a vibe. It's like studio wrestling, but modern and really cool. That's why NXT's at the level it's at. Now it's one show where I will say this, if they take these shows on the road and they have to black the crowd out a bit because it's not as full, I'm okay from time to time when they do that. With NXT, I don't care. I'm all good with that. But what makes NXT different and fun is its vibrancy, its affluent energy and aura it gives off from the audience and everything. That's what makes it different, and that's why it's awesome. Okay? So, yeah, I'm not hating on NXT. I'm just pointing out, damn, they really darkened that crowd out, not because it was empty. Not because it was empty, but because there was like 1,000 seats empty, especially, with the minimal stages that WWE do now and stuff like that. There were some empty seats. It's okay, guys. The criticism isn't, oh, you have some empty seats in a building. If AEW was doing these same buildings as WWE, where WWE does 13 to 16K, and AEW was doing like 10K, 9K, 11K, you would never hear me roasting and saying, go to smaller buildings. Because it's like, well, they could maybe fill that bitch if they're doing 11K. I'm not going to clown them for not filling up the 15K. They still did 11, right, guys? And I'm sure you all agree with that in this chat. That's why we have the best community, man, in this. I'm telling y'all. You guys know that. Like, we're not, but it's the fact that Tony Khan does these huge buildings and then does like 1,800 people in them. It's like, that's humiliating. When NXT goes to a building that does 3K, or can be shifted around to do 2,000 and some, and they only do 1,800. That's not like a clown. I'm not clowning them. It's just the crowd was dark objectively, and I didn't like it as much. It looked like a Dynamite a little bit, to be honest, for me, and especially because Dynamite does the white ropes and that and all of that. So you guys chat may disagree with me on that. The IWC may disagree, but you're getting mad at me. You're being intellectually dishonest. No, I'm not. I'm being super intellectually honest here, bro. I'm just looking at it how it is, okay? But by the way, shout out Dose too, who called like Ethan Page being on the main, and myself as well. Ethan Page is going to be on the main roster sooner or later. He appeared on SmackDown, and what did I tell you guys too? This is what they're planting the seeds of, and this is why Phil don't miss, okay? And I'm going to hit an X-Files, but it ain't even really an X-Files because I told y'all when Raw goes to Netflix on SmackDown and NXT, they're going to start sort of exchanging talent a little bit. You guys know what I mean? Like on SmackDown and NXT, we're going to see more crossover between the talent on those shows. And I think they're starting to plant the seeds of that already as we go into the new year. So expect to see NXT SmackDown crossovers and then the Raw brand to kind of be kept its own thing over on Raw. That's my prediction. I could maybe even see the World Heavyweight title getting swapped with the WWE one, but I don't know. AEW need to start to film in a studio. Oh, I know, dude. I'd put it over so heavily. I put over the last Dynamite in Pittsburgh that was in that little Civic Center. I was blowing it. I was like, dude, look how nice the crowd looks. It looks amazing. That's what makes NXT great. And for them to like go away from that, I think wasn't a good move, but for people to get mad at me for pointing that out and telling me I'm being dishonest, we'll get into it. It's in the sicko segment. I grew up in the times of studio shows, so that is why I like NXT. I am interested to see what happens to ratings when NXT goes back to the PC and audiences get something they're not familiar with. I don't think audiences are going to get something they're not familiar with. I think a bunch of people are tuning in to the CW show who we're watching it as like, okay, they're trying to gear it towards kids. There's no way you could do that better than going back to that studio. So that's all I'm going to say to that. But Perry King, I appreciate what you said, because that's why NWA Power picked up as well. Like, that show was amazing, dude. When like Nick Aldis and Eli Drake, and Aaron Rex and all those guys were in there. Corrigan brought NWA Power back. It was phenomenal. And that's why that studio vibe, people miss that. You don't need to flex like we're blowing up, man, 17,000 seat buildings and then 2,000 people are there. That's goofy, man. It's not even good service for the fans. And that's why I wrote in the title of this whole live stream, Tony Khan failed. He failed the fans, dude. He failed the fans. You can't even compete. You can't even dude didn't even try. That's what is insane to me. Or maybe this was their best effort, but he should have tried 6 months ago. He should have tried a year ago, dude. But yeah, the NXT, when they go to these bigger buildings and dark out the crowd, or they don't fill the hard cam side, it's like, to me, do it once in a while. Do it for the PLEs, the special shows, whatever, the TV specials. But I get it. The debut of CW, yeah, we're gonna go flex like these big attendances. Sweet. Show them what you guys do. That's why you guys got the 50 million. It's because of what you guys do in that performance center, Capital Wrestling, whatever it's called. So yeah, Trick Williams opens the show. He's so over, dude. So exactly. Let's think about this. What do you think AEW re-signed Daniel Garcia for? $500,000, $250,000? Let's play The Price is Right. Trick Williams, man, he comes out, and think about the pop this guy gets from this crowd, man. Just go back and listen to it. And then if you listen to the Dynamite crowd, and it's the same amount of people, okay? Dude, that Dynamite crowd was dead quiet as they didn't care about anything. They didn't care about Garcia. Look at Trick Willie, dude. He comes out, the building explodes. Whoop that Trick. And then they have Jay Uso come out, and then they start going, whoop that Trick, yeet, whoop that Trick. And the whole crowd, Booker T is on his feet. The whole crowd is losing their in this opening segment. This Bleacher Report, owned by Warner. Look at the mark who graded this a D. Bro, Jesus. This was a moment, dude. The crowd was so... This is when you're over like Rover, dude. Whoop that Trick, yeet. There you go. I don't know. And remember, this whole show is marketing to women, moms, and kids, dude. You understand that? 11 to 16, and then whatever the key wrestling demo is or whatever. Okay? CW caters to the youngsters, man. Someone said that, 11 to 16, I believe, on this show. Probably was Dose. He's the smart guy. Then we had Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, and Kalani Jordan take on Fatal Influence. I caught heat for saying Fatal Influence, which is JC Jane. What's the girl's name? Some girl that they're trying, Jasmine Nick. She's like really hot, so they're trying to push her and get her over. She's green though. And then what's the other one? Fallon Henley, who's like, dude, Fallon Henley's her whole own thing. She's her whole own like country thing, let her do her own thing. Jesus Christ, they just stick them all together. They all don't mix. And JC Jane, like, why didn't they just like put this Jasmine Nix girl with Gigi Dolan and JC Jane and put Toxic Attraction back together and just let JC Jane be the leader now? Or whatever. Instead, they just this Fatal Influence, terrible group. And then people are like, oh man, Pure Fusion collectives out there. And it's like, yeah, but at least Baszler and Zoe Stark, at least they were a tag team before. And at least Sonya Deville's a shooter, right, guys? She's a Muay Thai fighter. And Shayna Baszler's a shooter as well. And I believe Zoe Stark as well may have trained MMA or has some sort of background in some combat. I might be wrong in that, but I think that's why they put them all together. I know people joke online, they're like lesbianist. It's because they're all the lesbian club, you know what I mean? But I don't think that's why. I think that's more coincidental. But yeah, I think it's because they're all kind of shooters. So that makes more sense than this like fatal influence. It's like, okay, one girl's like kind of punk rock and was hanging out with Chase U. One girl's like a social influencer type girl, and then the other's like a country Mickey James type gimmick. I don't know. Trick Williams with Jey Uso was nonsense, but made me feel something. But Hologram Komander made me feel empty inside for $5. Thank you so much, dude.
The best guy's Tony Khan.
Dude, I actually I'm not hating on that match all the way, but it was some rampage though. It was like, dude, you need to have a division, and then like Vince was wrong for like, we're gonna change the rope purple when they're on Raw and then have them 205 live. It's like, no, just think about when Paul Heyman ran SmackDown with the Cruiserweight division. Tajiri, Matt Hardy, Chavo Guerrero, Rey Mysterio, Billy Kidman, Paul London. Like, you can't tell me that didn't work and it wasn't over. This was what it was, but just seeing, this is about Bianca and Jade giving Kalani the rub, and she deserves it. Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade are aligned now, and I kind of like these two being aligned, right? And then we get Julia comes out, and then Stephanie Vacker debuts. And she gets a huge, first off, Julia gets a big pop. Like, okay, what can I say? Everyone loves to boo Roxanne. She's doing great work. Everyone sort of likes to boo Cora. You know what I mean? They got to push her any way they can. Not saying she isn't good, but she's not like the best. I'm not a hater, but she's not like my favorite either, but she's a looker. I get it. And she can work, right? She can help get other people over. Selling's decent and stuff like that. But, Roxanne, I would say, is like way above her, in my opinion. But Stephanie Vacker arrives to help Julia. Now, I like this. Instead of like, oh, Julia Gulia versus Vacker in the first match. Nah. You build up to it, man. You give it some time. Julia will get hers back. And then Vacker can take out Jade. And then you get to Julia and Vacker eventually. And maybe one of them can heel turn. But I think I was wrong. I think Julia's, an NXT to stay in the CW era. She just oozes charisma. People want to throw around the word aura all the time these days. Julia, and Vacker. What can you say about them both? They both have it, dude, in spades. It is dripping off them, man. They put the it in jiu-jitsu. No, I don't. That's a bad one. I was trying to think something grappling. That was bad. Anyways, listen, they have it, okay? And, them teaming up's a good move because we just get singles matches spurned off of this. And amazing. The crowd reacted really well. Vacker looked great. Her dreams are coming true. Julia's dreams are coming true as well. We have to remember that Vacker's like, since I was a little girl, my dream is to be in the WWE. So like, everything she does with them is, her just living out her dream, and she's about to do it at the highest level. And she's already coming in capable of working at a tremendously high level from what we've seen thus far. And in AEW, what a fumble, Tony Khan. The future's just looking bright for women's wrestling in general. And I popped really hard for this, and this is a great little swerve of booking that I thought was a good idea. And they both grabbed the title, and they're both like, we want it, and we might get a triple threat as well. And just look at these ladies. So Vacker has it. Just look at her. Like, just has it. Just has her own look. That's what's so hard in wrestling too. There's the blonde. There's the whatever. She just has her own thing. Same with Julia. Julia has like the Shinsuke Nakamura vibes. She does weird with her mouth. She just has like a way of just like standing there and looking, telling you like 1,000 words with her eyes. She doesn't need to speak. She can just like tell you with facial expression. That's like Shinsuke. He's got this thing. Triple H described it. He's like, dude, when you walk through the airport with this guy, just people they don't know who he is even, and they're looking. They just know he's somebody. That's Julia, man. She just is somebody. Just the look on her face, I can't even tell what it is. It's just something about her. She has it, so about to main event a WrestleMania one day. This could be a WrestleMania main event, Vacker versus Julia in 5 to 10 years. We had a North American champion, or maybe you're not. We had a North American championship, Oba Femi versus Tony D'Angelo. I'm over this, but D'Angelo really won me over with this one to where I'm like, damn, this guy could be like a main roster player one day for sure. I was kind of over this coming into this. I just don't think you've had other guys vacate belts in NXT, right? Like just have Obafemi go all the way, stampede to the NXT title. Remember how they pushed Keith Lee and they filmed that where he won both titles, and then they filmed an outcome where he like lost a title and someone snapped it or whatever? Didn't that happen, right? And it got leaked out, the picture of him. Like, why don't you just give him what you were going to do with Keith Lee? Just give him both titles and then have them like vacate them both and go to the main roster. I know, oh, come on now, Phil. Some people might not like that, but it's NXT. It's like in the draft, right? Let's say you win you're in the AHL and you win the Calder Cup, and you can play in the NHL and try and defend the Calder Cup next year, or you get called up to the NHL and you were the captain on your team. You got to vacate your vacate your championship team and go up to the big times. I don't see like if they're just doing it in the main roster all the time, that's stupid. If you're doing it in NXT and I just don't think this was the move. I don't think this is the move, man, to me. I don't know. D'Angelo, I get the family. I like it. You know, it's over, but it's just like to give Oba an L and people would go, oh, come on now. Philly's going to go challenge for the NXT title next. I know, but you could have did title, dude. That's all I'm saying. Then you could have had him vacate, and maybe he's the guy who beats Trick, and then Trick goes main roster because he's so over. Who knows? But this match was solid. I just don't like the outcome of it, just personally. So this guy gave it an A+, deservedly so. NXT Championship match as well. Fraxium versus A-Town Down Under. Now, I had the feeling Fraxium, Nathan Frazier, and Axiom were going to win. They're just milking this breakup story that will happen eventually, but it's so everyone's kind of like it's happening. So obviously they don't do it yet. WWE always tries and does things when you least expect them, but this match was pretty goddamn amazing. And A-Town Down Under are great, man. They understand their roles in WWE, and they can float around and have matches with anybody. Really awesome. Lola Vice got into it with Nikita Lyons, who's back. And Nikita Lyons is a little cheesy with the promos and the backs, a little overacting and stuff, but she is thicker than 3 Snickers, dude. So you know why they're putting like, and I'm not just saying, like, come on, you know, it's with dudes too. Look at Giovanni Vinci. That guy gets TV time, you know, I get it. He's bodied up. But she's and she has something about her too. She has like an aura, whatever. And I'm not trying to roast her at all. I'm a big fan of hers. She's just very green in every department, but she does numbers, dude. So what are you gonna do? You know what I mean? You're gonna make it work. Have Lola Vice get a dub over her. You got to protect Nikita, though. In my opinion, I would have her like valeting a faction of dudes or something. You don't even need to put her in the ring. For real, because she's got double knee braces, dude, Austin style, and she's only 27. Both her legs up bad, you know? So just have her come out looking gorgeous. She puts all these great outfits on social media that are like, you know, whoa, you know, just have her come out wearing that and lead a faction of dudes. And then, you know, when she needs to, she can like throw a head kick and make it look good. You know, when she's got to get involved in the match, she can take a bump when she's got to. That's what I would do, but we don't have too many managers in modern WWE, and valets especially, which bring them back. Randy Orton accidentally encourages the anger of Frazier, and Axiom implied that Javon Evans is faster than Frazier, so that's happening. Sexy Red concert, right? And it gets interrupted by Ethan Page, who's still on NXT, but I think he's going to go more main roster, or he's going to bounce back and forth between SmackDown and NXT, like I predicted. But yeah, so this match, man, it was good, but Javon was really, Orton, like, okay, this is why they had this match. Orton is getting this kid over and teaching him they probably didn't call anything in the back other than the finish. And Orton probably was like, no, we're going to go out there and learn, and we're going to call it all in the ring, right? So Javon Evans, though, looked great in this match, and the match was awesome. There were a couple moments where you could tell where Orton just did the classic, grab a hold, tell him what to do next, you know, which is exactly why this match is supposed to happen. I love both these guys. I'm not burying anyone. You see the look on the face of Javon here, and he botched the RKO. Now, I really don't want WWE to F with me on this. Yeah, do they not have it? I would love if there's maybe someone could tag me in it. I didn't bookmark it because I didn't want to get flagged or anything. But if you go in slow-mo, like Javon was almost sideways. He did like a corkscrew crossbody, and then the RKO out of nowhere wasn't like placed right. Orton's showing you, in my mind, okay, when you're doing an RKO, it's all about where Orton's shoulder's going to be. That's where you need to like basically get your head because you know he's going to be able to grab you. Like if you're thinking of it of like we're throwing a pass or whatever, you're coming from behind him. It's wherever his shoulder's going to be that you need to get your head, right? Or you need to be straight. Javon was like sideways kind of, you know what I mean? And he completely missed. They just took a back bump and the crowd popped for it. And then Orton just picked Kid up and RKO'd him and then pinned him. Now, if this was like back in the day, Orton would have went nuts. He would have Kofi Kingston him, you know, you stupid
Dummy. Yeah.
But that's not what happened. He just picked him up, and Javon Evans goes, well, we can look at it here, and I'll scrub through this, and hopefully they don't get pulled. But Orton picks him up, and then Javon looks at him, and he mouths the words, I'm so sorry. And he says it twice. He says, I'm so sorry. And he goes, I'm so sorry, bro. See, he says, I'm so sorry, bro. I'm so sorry. He says it twice. And then Orton slaps him on the cheek and goes, don't be. You're the man. And then he raises his arm. Orton, man. Shout out Randy Orton, the GOAT. How about that? Yeah, what else can you say? I mean, one of the GOATs, and he just encouraged that kid. That was a moment where I guarantee you that kid, look at the look on his face. That will haunt him forever, guys. And that could have been a moment where Orton, as the vet, was like, what the kid, you know? And no, he's like, do not be sorry. You're the man. You love to see that. It's like when Shinsuke regal plexed Cena on his neck. And then he's like, dude, I'm sorry. And Cena's like, bro, don't be, you know? You got to love that culture in wrestling changed. You know, Javon, it was his dream to hit the craziest RKO out of nowhere. He botched it, dude. And I'm not going to pile on him for that, you know? It was his bad, though. It was not Randy's bad. If you look back, Randy was like standing there waiting for him gave him all the time in the world, you know, but we're not also, it's developmental. Now, back in the day, this would happen in Jim Cornette's OVW, and it wouldn't have been on television, it would have been on regional television. You know what I mean, chat? So we wouldn't have like seen it until YouTube or whatever, you know? So that's why I'm an advocate of like developmental when you're dealing with kids who are 20 and 19. Shouldn't even be on TV, in my opinion. I digress. Overall, great show, great match. Well, not great match. It was an okay match. Yeah, I think it was probably Javon had nerves get to him, and it was just a solid little outing for him in a good way. The crowd got Orton in St. Louis. So Alfred Konowa says here, I just want to read this to you guys. This is off screen. All of this talk of representation only for Dynamite to go head-to-head against NXT on Black Twitter Tuesday. It's worst number ever. AEW Dynamite challenging Africa NXT. Felt like if Karen opened a homemade chicken and waffles tent next to a Roscoe's.